Thank you. I want to thank you for bringing this important hearing here today, and I want to thank you for your service for so many years. It's really important, and your knowledge is great, and your compassion as well. And so I want to ask a couple questions on family separation. A couple weeks ago, my colleague, Congressman Carbajal, and I sent a letter about misleading information we received last year when we visited the border. I haven't yet received a response from your department, but maybe you could provide me with some answers. Recent news reports indicate that DHS and HHS officials exchanged emails on June 23, 2018, acknowledging that the departments did not have the necessary information to reunite migrant children with their families. On those email exchanges, DHS and HHS admitted, and I'm going to quote here, in short, no, we do not have any linkages from parents to children. We have a list of parent alien numbers, but no way to link them to children, end quote. On that same day, DHS issued a fact sheet claiming the department knew the location of all the children in custody, that the department had a process in place for the families to know the location for the children, and had a central database you could access and update. So just 2 days after that, Congressman Carbajal and I, on June 25th, traveled to the border to tour Tornillo, the unaccompanied minor facility. We were falsely told by leadership in those DHS and HHS facilities that the departments had the necessary information to reunite the families. So my question I'm hoping to ask Mr. Acting Secretary, taking a step back, how could you or how would you explain the discrepancy between the private emails exchanged between the government officials and the fact sheet published to the public the same day?
Thank you for the question, Senator. I'll do my best to explain it here and then make sure that we have an appropriate and robust response to your inquiry. There are 5 different components involved primarily in dealing with immigration. 3 agencies within DHS, Health and Human Services, OR&R, and the Department of Justice, EOIR. All 5 manage different IT systems. Now, let's just start with that. That's a challenge. Mm-hmm. On April 19th of 2018, CBP, at the request of HHS, implemented an adjustment to its system to be able to capture parent-child relationships more explicitly in our data at the border. Now, that's a CBP system. It's not necessarily available directly to all HHS personnel as of June of 2018. So when you're seeing an email like that, and I'm giving you a broad answer. Right. I'm not answering what the individuals who are sending that email are thinking or talking to specifically, but my interpretation of that is that having to go to a list of parent alien numbers means that they have to go to a different system. They can't automatically see the linkages between the parent and child in the 2 different systems. They have.
You think it was a lack of communication interagency?
A lack of system integration interagency. I think the communication was very good, and I want to comment on the reunification in a second. But first, we're going to fix this. It's one of my priorities as acting secretary to have a unified immigration portal that allows that data to connect and be integrated across agencies. That's doable. We did it for 47 departments and agencies for trade data when I was the deputy commissioner at CBP in the automated commercial environment called the single window. Mm-hmm. We can improve this process and certainly help ensure relationships are captured between people arriving at the border. So that's a priority. The reason I know that I can say with confidence that the data was captured and the intent of what was said publicly about our systems was borne out is the reunifications actually happened pretty rapidly. And the reunifications were broadly successful by HHS working with ICE and CBP data.
So let me follow up on that. Of the children that are still separated from their families, and we know there are still quite a few, how many, in your estimation, how many cases still lack the information necessary for reunification? And could you provide that information to us?
So that's being provided by Health and Human Services in, I think, biweekly filings to the Miss-El Court, the exact status of that. And I would refer you for an official answer to that data and to HHS. My understanding is that every single child has an identified parent relationship at this point.
Okay, we'll refer out to that. And I have another couple things. In my estimation, of course, your department has a lot of work to do to regain the public trust, including mine. And so as you lead the department forward, will you personally commit to all of us to truthfully respond to the committee that your department won't mislead us again in the way we were misled last year when I visited the border, no matter what the severity of issues are at hand?
So law enforcement depends on public trust. It is a fundamental requirement to carry out our mission and carry out our jobs. I will ensure that as long as I'm acting, we're going to do our level best to explain what's happening to Congress, to the American people, on all aspects of our mission.
Thank you. I have one last question quickly on family separation and the training that you're providing for the DHS officers to determine or not whether families are falling into the criteria of needing to be separated, what you're going to do going forward. You said you have a lack of bed space, lack of detention space. What are your plans going forward to train your officers to take care with these families when they're going through this?
So thank you for the question. And so a case where a child and a parent are separated now is extraordinarily rare. It's done for the safety of the child. If there's a serious criminal violation, an indication that the parent presents a risk to that child, if there's a communicable disease issue for either the parent or the child, they need to go to emergency care. It's happening 1 to 3 times a day out of up to 3,000 families arriving. So I just want to be very clear, it's a very rare situation, and it's got defined criteria that we've, by policy, mandated for our personnel in the field in accordance with the Miss L court order and the President's executive order from June 20th of last year. So it's extraordinarily rare. In terms of the process for doing that, I think there's an opportunity with our Civil Rights and Civil Liberties Office to look across our department and see if we can ensure that we're doing it consistently for CBP or ICE, for instance, and that we're taking all steps to consider the care of the child, the mental concerns a child might have in that scenario, and explain it effectively. So I think there's an opportunity there I'd like to work on.
Thank you.